everybody and welcome to Hannah's Happy Space. My name is Hannah. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. And if you are new to the channel, thank you for watching. You are very welcome. Briefly, just let you know who I am. If you're returning, obviously you'll know. Like I said, my name's Hannah. You join me here today in my home in a town on the edge of Dartmoor in the southwest of Devon in England. I live with my sister Cara and her son Sebi, my nephew. Yeah, that's me. I feel a bit rushed. I don't know why. I think it's because I was dashing around trying to find everything. Cara's out. She's gone to the opticians, and I'm not sure what time she'll come back, and which isn't a problem. But if she bursts in the middle of filming, you never know. Who knows what could happen? And I feel a little bit croaky as well, so excuse me if I am. Sebi has got an absolutely stinking cold from school, so he's very kindly sharing his germs, I think. Right, what have I got to tell you? Anything important? Today is the 1st of March, Friday. Can you believe it? Oh, hopefully you can't hear that on the video. It's just started absolutely pouring down, and I'm always looking that way because that's out to the garden. We've got our conservatory there, and when it rains it is so noisy on that roof, but you should be okay, shouldn't be able to hear that. Yeah, what was I saying? 1st of March, can you believe it? January went on for what felt like forever. February, poof, it's gone, disappeared. Yeah, and today is the 1st of March. So what do you make of that? I don't know where I was going with that, to be honest. Yes. Have I got anything else? Yesterday was Knit Club. We celebrated one of our ladies' birthdays was yesterday, on the 29th of February, leap year. So technically she was 18. It's an actual birthday. She normally celebrates it on the 1st of March. But yeah, yesterday was her birthday. We had Knit Club together at the cafe. I'm trying to think of anything that has happened recently of interest to you. Don't lead the most exciting of lives, has to be admitted. But you're not here for that, really, are you? I don't suppose. Don't hear me waffling on about myself. You're here for the crafts. You're here for the knitting, which there definitely is. And crochet is also in the mix today. I don't think. Oh, and I have got a sewing project that I can show you that I finished, and then at the end, I'm going to show you some new fabrics that have come in for me to make some bags with a shop update. Sorry, I've got an itchy eye. Probably frizzy hair poking in it doesn't help. Okay, shall we get on with it? Stop listening to me babble on. Excuse my massive glass of squash. Okay, right, what am I wearing? This I showed you last time. I think it's been about 3 weeks, has it, since I spoke to you guys last. And I tried to show you this, and I thought, well, it's finished, I'll wear it so you can actually see it is a cardigan. It wasn't just a massive black knitting that I was holding up. It's a finished cardigan. This is the Harvest by Tin Can Knits, which is a free pattern. You can either download it from Ravelry or from Tin Can Knits themselves. I did speak about it last time. I use the Tin Can Knits app. If you have any of their patterns, and you can, the app's available, I think, on both stores if you're an Apple user or Android user. The app is so good. This is a free pattern, so that you get the pattern downloaded straight from there. And their paid for patterns are on there as well, obviously. If you have their patterns, if you've already purchased some of their patterns from Ravelry, you can link the app to your Ravelry account and it will put them all on there for you. So when you go on there, you choose your design that you're going to do, you name it, you can put in what yarn you're using, what needles you're using, all that kind of information. Select your size that you're going to knit, and then it only shows you that part of the pattern. So unlike if you downloaded it from Ravelry, it has all the sizes on and you have to maybe print it off, mark which pattern you're going to use, highlight it on your phone, whatever, however you go about doing it. On the app, it only gives you your size, which is great. And then it's got all the instructions as you would expect, but you mark off each as you go. So you do one row, press it, done. Do the next row, done. And then if there's bits, so say there's a 2-row part, he says do row 1, do row 2, and then repeat that 10 times. It will row count it for you as well. I think it's really good. I've used it for this cardigan. I used it for, what did I knit, Harry? A flax. So yeah, definitely worth looking into if you haven't already. So yeah, this is the harvest. I haven't done it as full. I've made one of these before, which was I did as a full length, so just down to about your bottom. It's an Aran weight pattern, I should say. I think actually it's a worsted weight, so Aran or DK, depending on your tension. Like I said, I've done one in Aran before. This is a double knit, but I used, it's what I thought was quite a, ooh, where's the end of that? Thick double knit. This is the yarn. So black. It is, let me find the label for you. I know I showed you last time. Should have got this out beforehand. Here we go. It is the Women's Institute Premium Acrylic Yarn, which is from Hobbycraft here in the UK. Yes, 100% acrylic. 100 grams, 250 meters, and this calls for a 4mm needle. This is knit on 4s and 5s millimeters. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you any sort of detail. No. I will take a photo of me wearing it and put it in so you can see. Like I say, one I did before was a long one. This one I've done sort of to maybe hip-ish length, somewhere in between my waist and hips, I don't know, just to where I wanted it, so I can wear it with dresses and my dungarees and that kind of thing. It's knit in the round, top down, and you do this, it's garter stitch, button band. Mine is, there is a bit in there that explains how to put a buttonhole in. I didn't do that. It is no garter stitch. Nightmare. It's garter stitch for the bands, the band at the bottom, and the cuffs. And the rest is stockinette. Honestly, it is. I'm honestly. Yeah, so like I say, I'll put a picture of me and wearing it so you can see it a bit better. What was I going to say then? The yarn. The yarn's lovely and soft, really nice to knit with, but I don't know if you saw last time, you might remember me saying that it had a funny smell, like a plasticky kind of fuely types, that kind of smell. Someone did leave me a comment, I can't remember who it was, and said that they had the same thing, that theirs smelled a bit petrol-y. And I did notice after that episode, when I was knitting on it again, it was turning my finger black where the yarn was, which I've never had with commercial yarn before. I know with hand-dyed yarn sometimes you get like a colour transfer, don't you, or colour leaking. I've not had it with commercial. It's washed off my hands, it wasn't a problem. But when this was finished, I chucked it in the washing machine. You know, it's an acrylic yarn. It's, I think it even, does it say? Yeah, you can tumble dry it. Mild wash, no bleach, tumble dry carefully, dry press only. This is mild wash 40 degrees. I chucked it in the washing machine on our quickest cycle, which was a 20-degree, 20-minute wash. Just only because I wanted to get rid of the smell. Didn't necessarily need to block it. I just laid it out flat to dry. Lovely. Smells like washing detergent. I don't know why I keep putting my hands up to show you it like this, because it doesn't, you can sort of see there's maybe a difference of what's going on here to here, but trust me, if it was in a different colour, you'd be able to tell. So that is that. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze then. Okay, right, so that is first finished object, what I'm wearing, done. Let me move that out of the way because that's not what we need. Okie dokie, what is next? Crochet. Yeah, let me show you this one because I showed you this last time. Excuse me. This is a crochet project I was working on last time that I told you would definitely be finished. And I think I finished it that evening that I was talking to you. Oh, excuse me, I've got a tickle in my throat. So, this is a granny square triangle. So I haven't got a design or a pattern to link for this one. By the way, any patterns I talk about, patterns, yarn, etc., everything will be in the description box below this video. Yeah, so I don't have a pattern for this one, but if you go, you know, just search on Google granny square triangle shawl, or on Pinterest, probably even if you just put it into Ravelry, you'll find a pattern, definitely. And it's, if you can do a granny square, I mean, if you can crochet, you could make this. But if you can do a granny square, obviously this is just half a granny square, so you'll be flying through. This is crocheted using, that is for a thumbnail. It won't work, it never does. Every time I tell you, let's try and get a thumbnail, never. All the thumbnails you see on this channel is because I've gone back through the video and screenshotted a part that looks half decent. Anyway, sorry, don't need to do that. This is all hand dyed 4-ply yarn scraps, leftovers, bits and bobs, ranging from about 3 grams to getting near the end, sort of 10, 11 grams. So any bits that you've got. I made a magic knot ball. But I didn't snip the ends off next to the knot. I just weaved those in just for a bit of extra security. And then I have finished off. It's quite big. So I finished off using a crab stitch around the edge. Oh, that's better. So just did that all the way around the edge to finish it off. So yeah, it's a nice, I mean, I could have just kept going. I just didn't have any bits left that I wanted to use up. So it's a good size. She says, just, oh, it's all tangled up in my earrings. Yeah. Lovely. I haven't blocked it, didn't think it really needed it. I have crocheted this using a 3mm hook. Probably, if I'm honest, could have gone up to a 3.5mm because it is quite a dense stitch. It's not stiff, the fabric's not stiff, but it could have, you know, if I wanted more drape, could have gone up to 3.5. The only reason I didn't is because my mum had borrowed my 3.5mm hook and I wanted to start. So that's what I went for. What's going on here? Sorry, faffing. It's because I know that bit there is the top centre. I was just trying to get it a bit more central, but then that doesn't sit. Oh, never mind. So there we go. That is that. Lovely way of using up scraps, all those little bits of hand dyed that we can't bear to part with. Yeah, like I say, I could have definitely gone on and made it just gone bigger and bigger and bigger. And very enjoyable. I love a treble stitch. As a crocheter, I can do this without looking. It's very sort of a repetitive calming stitch. So TV on, watching that, crocheting away, and because I didn't even have to worry about colour changing because I'd had it all in the ball, just lovely, really, really lovely project to do. Therapeutic, that's the word I was looking for. And it's got lots of the little bits that I couldn't bear to part with. And I used the majority, like the first part, actually, were all the bits that I had left over from my Mystery Advent Cowl, shawl. No, it's not there. That I showed in previous videos, which was using 20-gram minis. So all the bits that were left over from that I've used up in here because some of those were absolutely lovely. Didn't want to get rid of them. And I can look through and I can see that, you know, I know that there's Discreet Unicorn in here. There's Woolly Mummy Yarns, James Makes Yarn, Siobhan Knits, Siobhan's Crafts, even, all sorts. And I, you know, that I've used them in different projects, so I know, like that one there is James Makes Yarn that's in my Starflake shawl. I know that this one here is a Rainbow Fusions that I've got a pair of socks made from, and it's in my Advent shawl. So yeah, nice way of keeping all those lovely bits and pieces, and it's lovely and bright because that's the sort of colours I like. So that's what I've got left over. So that's a finished object there. Cara's going to make one of these now. She started it last night. I don't know where it's gone. She's doing hers in double knit because she doesn't like 4-ply because it doesn't work up quick enough for her to see results. She's using, actually it's here, I could show you, to make hers. She is using a new yarn from Yarnsmiths, Elvis. These are 150 gram, 100% acrylic, double knit cakes. Oh, that was a lot to say. Yeah, so she chose this one. Really bright colours. Hopefully these ones will behave themselves. The one that she was using yesterday, she said to me she hates yarn getting tangled up. Really, oh, she can't stand it. Or ripping out anything that that means the yarn is not in a ball or in a project. She's not having it. So she said to me, can you pull the centre of the ball? Because I'm not sure, you know, she doesn't do a huge amount. Just so I know where, you know, I'm going to start. And how do you find the end? And I said, well, just put your finger in and pull it out. No. So I did that for her, and it, so I had to start off by wrapping the rest around here for her to use. She was not happy, but they're quite tightly wound, so I think that might be why that happened. Anyway, that's what she's using for that. When she's finished it, I'll show you. It will take her a little while because she only does a little bit at a time. So that's Yarnsmiths Elvis. I think she said this was called Michelle. The colour. Shade 1A002. This is what it says on the ball band. Anyway, that's what she's up to. She lobbed that on the sofa. Right. Sorry. Itchy nose. What's next? Next is one more finished object. Which is a project I started a day or so after I spoke to you last, and is now finished. I just really got it, you know, when you get a pattern stuck in your head, and I wanted to do it for a little while anyway, but you know, when you just keep thinking about it, and then you think, well, I've got some yarn for that, I'll just do it. stop thinking about it. I'm just going to have to do it. Have to get it out. Have to get it out of your system. And really, I did it as well because there's another pattern by the designer that I like, and it suggests, it says a jumper, and it suggests if you haven't used her pattern before for this particular design that I'm about to show you, to start with this cowl project, and then move on to the bigger projects. So anyway, waffle. This is the Pressed Flowers Cowl even, that's the back, by Savoury Knits, which is Amy Christophers. So it's a long cowl. I chose to do the longest, the biggest size. However, I added a huge amount more, it was a fair amount more rows of this plain stitch. Because otherwise it wouldn't have been long enough to go around twice. It would have been a long loop that just hung down, and I didn't really like the look of that. So yeah, Pressed Flowers Cowl. I'm sure you'll have seen this. There's loads of she's got a fair few patterns with this Pressed Flowers design on, and that's what I wanted to do, the jumper. So I did this first. I know there's a excuse me, there's a shawl, a jumper, a cardigan, socks, hat, and I think she just bought out like a vest, like a slip over. Yeah, so this is mosaic colourwork knitting, which is all done with slip stitches. So you start with this plain stitch, and then the design flower stitch starts. Oh, that look, I've just put it exactly where there's a mistake, this row here, but I didn't notice that until about down here, and I thought I'm not ripping it back. I'm just not, because there was obviously a lot of work, and then the yarn that I've used is Scheepjes Stone Washed and River Wash, and it's quite a sticky yarn. It sticks to itself quite a lot, and undoing it can be a bit of a pain. There is another mistake in here. She says looking for it. I don't know why I'm searching for it, because I wasn't intending to show you. I can't find it. There is definitely another mistake in it. I took it when I was working on it the other week. I took it to Knit Club, and some of the ladies were looking at it, and I said to my friend Sarah, I said, there are mistakes in it. She was like, oh, well, of course there are. Is that a mistake? Is that the mistake? Is that the mistake? So obviously it's not that visible. Anyway, yeah, so the flowers continue. And then you do this plain stitch again. So I continued it for a while, so that I could do, hang on, this with it, and put it around twice. Now, I haven't worked out the best without jiggling it all around. Where are the flowers? Here we go. So it's coming out quite dark. It is quite miserable here today, quite grey, and I've got as many lights on as possible, but I am wearing a lot of black, so it doesn't really help. So that's, sorry, cover my mouth up. That's the design. Shall I tell you what yarn I've used? I know I briefly just did. I've got quite a bit left, actually. I had a lot of this in stash. This is Scheepjes Stone Washed in colourway Black Onyx. This is a sport weight yarn. The pattern is actually for a sport weight. This is 78% cotton, 22% acrylic. So that's the black. And I, for some reason, oh, I know why it was. I think a couple of years ago there was a crochet along it was, from from Scheepjes that used this colour as a base, and then it had lots of katonas that you cross-stitched onto it with. And I think, I've got a feeling it might have even been Cara's, and she didn't do it, and we just kept all the yarn from it. So I've still got a couple of balls of this in stash. I used 2, I think, in the end, or was it 3? It might have been 3. I've got it on one of my cards. Here it is. So the black, I used 134 grams. And for the pink, I used 89 grams. So what's that? That's 2 and a bit balls of black and 1 and a bit balls of the pink. The pink is a river washed. So the stone wash is a colour with white through it, and it, I don't know if you can, it's got a bit of a sort of fuzz, a bit of a halo. You can see it more on the river washed, that sort of halo to it. Yeah, this is river washed, same makeup, same sport weight. This one is called Steenbras. And then the river washed are sort of 2 colours rather than a colour and a white. So those are the 2 that I used, and this is what we ended up with. Lovely. I do want to do the jumper, like I say. Haven't decided 100% on what I'm going to use yet. I think what I'd like to do with the jumper is obviously this plain stitch and then your flowers. What I think I want to do is, for the flowers and the obviously bit that goes through, I want to have a variegated yarn and then have a solid colour for the other. And I've been looking at Yarnsmiths Pebble. Is it just called Pebble? They've got which is very similar, having looked online, to this yarn. It's similar makeup, cotton acrylic. It's got that stone washed look and that bit of a halo to it. And they've got yarn cakes that are variegated and 50 gram balls that are solid, you know, one colour. So I'm thinking I might use that, but I'm not sure how it will wear, because this is quite, you know, got that bit of fluff to it. And I think, you know, I'm only wearing this around my neck, but a jumper, obviously you've got parts that rub together. How much is it gonna fluff up? I don't know if anybody has made a garment using either of those yarns. The cakes, I think they've got a different, one's Pebble and one's Pebble Haze maybe. If you've used any of those to make a garment and you've worn it, and I know it's quite a new yarn, so people might not have done that yet. If you want to let me know what that's like, that would be great. But yeah, otherwise I'll keep searching. I do like Stylecraft Recreate, but they're solid colours. So I think I prefer to do, I'm just going to leave this on. I think I prefer to do variegated. Forgot what the word was then. Actually, I'm going to be a pain, and I'm not going to keep this on because it's catching on my earrings. There we go. So, oh dear, there we go. Beautiful. Really love that pink colour. So that's another finished object. And actually, I have done slip stitching with colour work before, and a lot of patterns are really quick, really easy. I started off, this pattern's got written instructions and charts, and I started by doing the written instructions, just so I could get a hang of it, and then use the charts. I'm not usually one for charts, but that was absolutely fine. Got that in there. Okay, so those are my finished objects. What have we got next? Whips. There aren't a huge amount. Actually, there's only really one two-ish. I'll explain. There are other whips, obviously, in the background. I have not worked on my Totally Toadstools jumper at all since I spoke to you last. And really, like I said last time, after having worked on this and enjoying those treble stitches so much, what's the difference? I should have just been able to have carried on with that, but I didn't. I started something different because I really enjoyed the stitch, the simplicity, the ease, and then I thought I'm going to try and use up some more yarn. Excuse me while I bend over here. I might have to try and take a photo of this as well and show you. God, it weighs a ton. I have this big bag here, which is where I keep my commercial sock yarn. And this bag was overflowing at one point. Excuse me. So it's normally part balls that go in there. So socks have been knit, part balls go in there. And it's been hanging around. It's been hanging around for ages. And I thought, let's just I'm not going to use it to knit socks. I know I'm not, because I'm a size 8. And I like quite a long sock. So quite often I'll use more than 50 grams to make a pair of socks, sometimes 60. Sometimes I'll pass over what I've got left to my mum because she's got smaller feet. She can put it with a contrast, that kind of thing. And then, but then I should, no, just use it. You want to do something, crochet, let's do that. So what I decided to do was pick out at random 2 balls of yarn, or part balls of yarn, and crochet them into a granny square. So I used, what did I use? 4.5mm hook. So 2 lots of 4-ply together is 8-ply, which technically is a double knit worsted. I mean, I'm making a granny square, so we don't need to worry. It was just getting the fabric that I wanted. I will hold this up over my face and not say anything for a moment. You won't be able to fit it all in, but just let me show you very briefly. Oh, hold on. I'm going to do it. Which is the best way to do it? Here we go. So you get a bit of an idea. What I'll do is I'll try and spread it out on the floor and take a photograph and put it in. So what I did was make these big squares, and then I've joined 4 of them together. Join as you go. I did squares because they were so heavy, and I thought, if I just keep going round and round and round and round, it's just gonna be too heavy to work on. To be fair, it is getting that way anyway. So yes, I made 4 squares, joined them together. Yeah, I'm just looking for where and then I've done 1, 2, 3 more rounds since that, just going round and literally just picking out a ball or 2 balls, using them up till they've gone, and then joining another yarn in. So it might be that you join 1 different at a time, both run out at the same time, whatever happens, just joining in a new one. No rhyme or reason. If they were bigger amounts left, and I was getting a bit fed up with the colour, I did snip it off and just swap. But yes, so it's used up a fair amount so far, and obviously because it's sock yarn, the majority of it is 75% wool of some kind, 25% nylon. Apart from some, like I've got some bits of this in here. Oops, that's tangled up. Some Tutti Frutti, which is a cotton sock yarn from Regia. which I have made socks from, which is 72% cotton, 18% polyamide, 10% polyester. When I've been using this, I've doubled it with a wool sock yarn. So it's softness wise, I don't think it's too bad. Cara touched it and went, ugh, she doesn't like wool. Excuse me. When it's finished, I'll bung it in the machine on a wool wash and just try and soften it up a little bit. It's really warm. It's really heavy. I think it's just going to be a nice, cozy, cold weather blanket. So that is what I picked up instead of my jumper to get my treble fix. And I can whiz through a granny square. You get all these lovely mild colours, all completely random. Again, a good TV project for me because I don't have to look when it comes to granny squares. Oof, blimey, it really does weigh a ton. I'll have to give it a, see if I can weigh it when it's done. Oh, actually, just very briefly, going back to this, the granny triangle wrap. I used, sorry, just looking at my notes, approximately 320 grams of yarn. So if you're going on 400 meters for 100 grams, it's about 1300 meters of yarn. So just to tell you that briefly. So that is the granny square blanket that I am working on every now and then. What is next? Oh, one more whip, which is in my new bag that I made. I found a new company for fabrics. So they, as well as doing meterage, they do panels. So I'm just going to take out what's in here so I can hold it up flat for you to see. I thought to trial what the fabric was like, I would buy one of these panels. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen this. So this was the panel, and it's printed design, this embroidery design. It's really lovely, really nice. Lots of colour. So what I did was use that main panel. Just sit back a bit. Main panel for the body of the bag. Then I teamed it up with some blue polka dots for the back and the top. And I lined it with purple polka dots. So this is the same style as my normal bags. Oh, sorry. Which are like this with a boxed bottom. This one, however, I did not do a boxed bottom because I would have either lost pattern for doing the box bottom on this, or I would have had to have added even more fabric to the bottom to make the box. And I think this is a big enough bag that it doesn't matter that you haven't got that extra width, or depth, isn't it? Is that the right word? Extra space, because I am keeping a jumper in here. So it's about, just looking for my tape measure. The panel was a 14-inch square, so it won't be that wide anymore. It is 13 inches wide by almost 16 inches high. Yeah, so I'm thinking of putting these in my shop, is where I'm headed with this. But because I need to order these panels to make it, what I thought I would do is use this as a sample on the shop, and do it as a pre-order, so I don't end up with loads of panels that people don't want. So yeah, maybe do it like that as a pre-order, and then you can have a choice of what colour polka dots you want to go with it. So anyway, that's my bag. I'm keeping a project in there, a jumper, which I did tell you about last time that I'd started, but I didn't show you because I'd literally done the rib for the collar. So the yarn I'm using is yet again more Yarnsmiths Free Spirit Aran. If you've seen me before, you'll know this is what I used to make Harry's flax. This is 100% acrylic, 100 grams, 185 meters. This one doesn't show, let me just, so there are some more colours in there, this darker part. So it's pale yellows, greens, oranges, and then you get this darker orange, almost red purples. I'll show you it knitted up in a minute. This is shade 1D009, which on the website is called Painted Lady. Cara bought this yarn for me to knit her a jumper. And this is where we are. Oh, it's not coming. It's a lot brighter than that. The light's gone a bit. So like you can see, you get this striping, the pale with this dark stripe throughout. This is a Felix. You may be able to tell from the chevron lace on the raglan. So I've made Cara one of these before. She wanted another one. You'll know that I've made myself. I've got two as well. So yeah, this is, where have I got to? I've done all of the body. That's where I'm trying to get to. I've split for the sleeves, you can see. Sorry, put my hand up now. Split for the sleeves. And I cast off the body last night. Yeah, so I've just got the sleeves to do. That shouldn't take too long, because they're is it a drop sleeve? I'm not very good on the technical. What's that? Oh, sorry, it's where I've joined the yarn in. I was thinking, oh, it looks like a hole there, but it's not. It's where a new ball of yarn's joined in. Yeah, so I've got the sleeves to do. Luckily, Cara, I'm sure she won't mind me saying this, is a little shorter in stature than myself. So the body didn't need to be as long and the sleeves won't need to be as long. So that will be finished fairly soon. So that is another Felix. They knit up really quickly. They're an Aran weight yarn, an Aran weight pattern knit on a 6mm needle. So slightly, oh, my bag. Slightly bigger needle than you might normally use for an Aran. Yarn does. So yeah, so you can see I've got all of that in there, plus 2 balls of this in here. Plenty of room. That's the yarn label. Yeah, so that is that one. Just checking that there's nothing else to that. Okie dokie, that's that one. So that is all of the projects that have been finished or are currently being worked on. Sorry, could be a cold for the weekend, I feel. Okay, yes, that's all the finished objects. Whips that I'm working on. I have bought some plain grey 4-ply to go with. I showed you, I think that was in the last episode. I bought a skein, well actually Cara bought it. The skein of yarn from Alex and Danny over at My Yarny Corner that Sebi named during their live dye, which was pinks and blues. Sebi's Candy Floss, which I'm going to knit a stripy holster with. So I've bought some grey 4-ply yarn to go with that. I think I will cast that on when I finish the sleeves, possibly on the Felix. I'll see how I go. I'm finding the Felix is hurting my shoulder a bit. I don't know if it's the chunkier yarn, the chunkier needles, what it is. I don't normally not normally too bad. It's only if I do loads of knitting that my arms and joints play up. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. I have got some yarn incoming to show you. Sorry, rustle warning, Russell's about. If you've been here before, you will know I am a huge fan of James Makes Yarn. Literally love everything he's ever done. I had his mini kaleidoscope club for a long time. I've bought many skeins of yarn from him, and I've had him gifted. Honestly, if you don't know who he is, oh sorry, my phone's ringing. If you don't know who he is, why? Head over and look at him. I'll link him below. And if you like bright colours, definitely. So every now and again, James does a lucky dip where you get 2 skeins of yarn that you do not know what they're going to be. You choose 4-ply or DK, and it's really he uses it as a chance to experiment with yarn dyeing, with colours, to see what colourways he wants to bring out. And I suppose it's just nice to have a play with colour. So my friend Ruth from Ruth Loves to Knit very kindly gave me a voucher for his shop for Christmas. So when he said he was doing the lucky dips, then I knew I needed to use that voucher. I may also have put some of my own money towards it. You get 2 skeins of yarn in the lucky dip. So I ordered 2 lucky dips, so 4 skeins of yarn. One of them was for Mum. She chipped in and had a skein as well. But I ended up with these 3. And the light's not doing them any favours. Especially this one. This is my particular favourite because it's got all those pinks in. So many speckles. Look at all those colours. See, you're not seeing like here. Whoa. Sorry, I was just chucking the other ones around. Around here there's some oranges and some greens. Really lovely. Yeah, just lucky dip bag. So they're 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon. So there's that one. I don't know what these are going to be yet. Greens with blues and browns and speckles, which wouldn't be one I'd normally choose, but I do like it. I love neon green. So, and that's always nice with lucky dips, I think, that kind of thing. They're not always things that you particularly choose yourself, but are always lovely. I've had quite a few lucky dips, like I said, from James before, and I've always loved all of them. I had some that I used in my Starflake. If you go back a few episodes, Starflake Shawl by Stephen West. Beautiful. So those, I'm not going to try and shove them back in there because it's just going to be messy. Those are my new beautiful yarns to go into stash. Oh, a bit more rustling, sorry. And then, like I say, this new fabric company I found with the panels. I bought another panel to see what it looked like. And also, if people are interested, going to put this as a pre-order. Oh, it's a bit creased. Is this woolly sheep? Ooh. So I would use that in the same way as I had done with the other bag that I just showed you. Really lovely. So there's that one. Then very briefly I will show you, I've got some meters of fabric which are upside down. This navy blue with embroidered flowers. So they're printed digitally printed fabrics. So there's that one. These I will use to do my boxed bottom bags. Then we've got, I think this one might be my favourite, pastel ghosts. That's the one. So they're quite different to the fabrics I've normally used. Well, some of them are, but they're very much this is very much my sort of thing, my sort of style. So hopefully there's people out there who will like it. Otherwise I will be having my own bags and things for myself. This is crochet squares, granny squares, flower squares, brightly coloured. Then we've got, this one was called Petals, but it's like really thick paint. So some more beautiful colours. And finally, Drip. So those are going to be some fabrics that will become bags in the shop at some point. There is, I think this may be, which actually I should have said right at the beginning. Thank you so much to everyone that came to my last shop update. I think everything was gone in about 2 days, which was amazing, which I never expect. There's 1 or 2 things left in there. If you want to go to the shop, it's over on Ko-fi. The link for the shop is in the description box. You can also leave a Ko-fi donation. Absolutely no pressure to do so whatsoever, but there is the choice to do that there. I have already made some bags that are just awaiting drawstrings. This new fabric will become bags, and then I will let you know when another shop update will be along. If you're not interested in that, not a problem whatsoever. I think that's everything. So you can follow me over on Instagram, HannahHappySpace. Again, link will be in the description box. Where else can you find me? Ko-fi, link in the description box, and Ravelry. So I have put my Ravelry user, I think, did I just put my Ravelry username in the box? Hopefully that will take you somewhere. If you're interested. And I think that's probably it. I thought this wasn't going to be very long because I didn't have a huge amount to show you, but we're almost at an hour, so I'm going to go away, leave you people in peace. And it's getting darker and darker by the minute. So thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you so much to those who supported the shop. Just thank you, everyone. Enjoy your crafting, and I will see you all in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.